Despite my gripes 7 months ago about not being able to find many resources about custom encounters using existing monsters, it turned out to be fairly trivial. I think I was overthinking things. I really need to stop doing that. There are 4 types of encounters. The first are weak hallway encounters. These are the introductory fights in an act to ease you into that area. These are found in the first 3 rooms in the Exordium, and the first 2 rooms for both the city and the Beyond. Next, we have strong monster encounters, which are all of the other normal hallway fights. Third are elites. And lastly, we have bosses. To add an encounter to the game, we need to add monster through base mod. This function takes an ID for the encounter, an optional name for the encounter, and a lambda function to create the monster or monster group. I wish I could give you a thorough reasoning or explanation for the use of a lambda here, but I really don't know enough theory for functional programming, just how to do it. For a single monster encounter, we'll need to pass in double parentheses, the lambda operator, new, and our monster's constructor. For a group of enemies, we'll need a new monster group, which is made from an array of abstract monster, where we make a new monster for each position of the array. Now that our encounter is registered with base mod, we need to tell it where to spawn the encounter. There are 4 functions for this, each corresponding to the 4 types of encounters. The weak encounter type is registered using basemod.addMonsterEncounter, passing in the act ID and a new monster info made from the encounter ID and a weight. This weight ends up affecting all encounter weights, so you may want to consult the source code, or this handy chart to determine the weight for your encounters. 2 is generally a safe bet to avoid throwing things off too much, though elites and bosses use 1 consistently. The strong monster encounter is added through basemod.addStrongMonster using the same parameters, and elites use basemod.addElite. Bosses have a slightly different function. We add our monster encounter as before using basemod.addMonster. The basemod.addMonster function takes the act ID and the encounter ID, but also needs the location for an image and image outline for the map screen. I decided to use the writhing mass from Act 3 as my test boss in the Exordium, so I used a screenshot of the creature to create an outline and image. Both are 512 pixels square. The image is white and seems to act as a transparency mask for the outline, which is hex code 8B8B7D in color, a dull gray. To test and see if our encounters get added to the game at all, clear the first room, or the game will crash, then use the console and type in fight and the ID of the encounter. It should auto-complete, and in accordance with established naming convention, I've prepended my IDs with my mod name. This test just makes sure the fight is in the game, but does not ensure that it will show up in gameplay. The only way to test this is to run through the act as many times as necessary until you find it. You may want to increase the weight of the encounter to make sure it is getting added properly, then reduce it to more reasonable levels. I'm hoping to get back on the ball after my extended break from this channel. Part of that is trying to keep ahead of the videos. I have most of custom creatures done, and a custom character comes next. I'm running into some severe roadblocks for characters, but once I'm through that, it should mostly be a design thing, rather than technical problems. Seeing likes on the videos really helps push me for this, so please give this a like if you found it informative.